सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। नमस्कार। আজকে অতীব একটি পূর্ণ দিন। আজ 16ই মে 2022। আজকে গৌতম বুদ্ধদেবের জন্মতিথি উপলক্ষে এই বিশেষ সন্ধ্যায় প্রথমে আপনারা শ্রবণ করলেন সন্ধ্যা আরতির পর শ্রী শ্যাম নাম সংকীর্তন ও একটি বুদ্ধ সঙ্গীত। এখন আমাদের আলোচ্য বিষয় হচ্ছে বুদ্ধদেব, গৌতম বুদ্ধদেবের জীবন ও বাণী। Gautam Buddhadev was born in the Kshatriya Sakya clan of the state of Kapilavastu, situated in the terrain region of the modern Nepal. He was from the kings. So the exact place of his birth was the garden of the Lumbini Grama near the city of the Kapilavastu. At much later date, Emperor Moksha Maurya erected the famous Rumindai pillar at that place to make it memorable. Lumbini is also known as Rupandehi. Gautama Buddha was the son of the Sakya chief Kapilavastu Sodhadana and his mother Maya Devi, who died 7 days after the birth of his son. The child thereupon was nursed by his stepmother and mother's sister Mahaprajapati Gautayani. According to her, the child was named, and according to her name, he was named as Gautama. The family also called him Gautama Gotra, and the family also belonged to Gautam Gotra. Another name of Gautama was Siddhartha. The exact date of the birth and death of Gautam Buddha are not yet definitely known to the history, though it is very known for certain that he lived a life of 80 years. There are two theories about the dates supported by every argument. According to the calculation derived from the Sanhelis tradition, Buddha was born in 623 BC and died in 543 BC at the age of 80. The dates are supported by some historical evidence, but by another calculation derived from the established dates of Asoka's life, the dates of Buddha seems to be different. According to this calculation, the coronation of Asoka took place 218 years after the death of Buddha. The established dates of Asoka show that he came to the throne in 273 BC and was coronated after 4 years in 269 BC. If Buddha had died 218 years before Asoka's coronation, the date of Buddha's death falls in 487 BC and his date of birth comes to 567 BC. These dates are supported by another historical evidence of great value. At Canton, a dot was put on the record for each year after the death of Buddha. This was continued till the year 489 AD. The total number of Canton dots seems to be 975, where the number of years of Christian era is namely 489. Is taken out from the total dots, that is 975, it brings up to 486. Thus, according to the calculation of the famous Canton dots, death of Buddha falls in 486 to 87 BC. So many of them given many arguments, but still now not one means all are accepted on the basis of calculation. Much of much of the life of Buddha is shrouded in mystery, but much of it also appears clearer from the Buddhist source. It is said that from his childhood, young Gautama showed signs of detachment towards the worldly life. Yet, as a Kshatriya prince, he was given the customary training in the use of arms and weapons, in riding horse and driving chariot. Father Suddhodana paid enough attention to keep the mind of his son engaged in the stately activities. The place of Kapilabastu also presented enough of pleasures and luxuries of enjoyment, but Gautama was seen to possess no attraction for the so-called happiness of life. Everything appeared rather painful to him. When he was 16, he got married to Jasodhara, also named as Gopa or Bimba. Marriage was another yet bound for the throne, thoughtful prince. For several years, Gautama enjoyed the usual pleasures and comfort of the places, like the youthful princess elsewhere. At last, he crossed four scenes of a man's existence, which left him a deep impression on his thought. One day, as his charioteer Chana took the prince through the street of Kapilabastu, Gautama saw an old man bent with age and have wrinkling face and presenting pathetic appearance. He came to understand that miseries of the old age were natural in life. Subsequently, when he saw another man suffering from disease with extreme pain, he was told by the charioteer that sickness and disease were like the compassion of life. The third scene was yet more shocking. When the prince came across the sight of a dead man being carried by his sorrowful relatives, weeping and lamenting, he came to know that man had no escape from death, which is the truth, which was inevitable. So here we can see that Gautam Buddha first passes through an old man, then a sick man, and then a dead man. So we find that in a worldly life, these three becoming from young to old, old to sick, and sick to dead. This is the cycle of the life, and through which Gautama Buddha has passed. Regarding this fulfillity of life, which ends in death, Prince Gautama is said to have thought about the indifference between living man towards the absolute reality. how senseless the man appears to me, who's never ill and old and dead. He sees yet hold fast to things, to the good things of this life, and is not thrilled with anxiety. It is as if a tree divested in all flower and fruit must fall in or be pulled unaffected, remaining the neighboring trees. So this was the thoughts that are coming in the mind of Gautam Buddha. While overtaken by distressed thoughts of his old age, disease and death, Gautama came across yet another scene. It was the sight of a sannyasi who had renounced everything and was walking alone with any sign of worries and anxiety on his happy face. This four experience of Prince Gautam Buddha has been described as the four great signs. They proved like the turning point in the life of Gautam Buddha, causing him to think seriously on the meaning of the human existence. While a change of mind was thus taking place, Gautam Buddha was blessed with a son at the age of 29. To him, it was another bond to tie him to the worldly life. Without waiting further, he decided to renounce the world. So, at the age of 29, in the silent hours of dark night, he came out of the place, leaving his sleeping wife and son, as well as old father, and accompanied by his faithful charioteer Chana, disappeared into the darkness from home to a homeless life. This event in the Gautam's life is famous as the Great Renunciation. At the boundary of the Sakya territory, Gautama asked Chana to return to Kapilavastu and tell his father not to make efforts to find his whereabouts, because he had now accepted once and for all the homeless way of life of a wandering monk. So he told his charioteer that I am taking the sannyas, so let this my family know, and also that not to find me, because I have already left everything, and I am going now. When the most devoted charioteer instead that he should stay with the prince, Gautama persuaded him to go back, saying that man is born alone and he must pass away alone, and in aloneness the whole truth of life was hidden. Gautam Buddha wanted to search that truth alone only. He proceeded to Rajgriha and tried to satisfy his inner hunger at the feet of two learned saints named Alara and Udraka. For some time thereafter, he tried to seek guidance from various wise teachers but got no satisfaction. Thereupon, he decided to subject his body to extreme physical pain, going to the dense forest far from the human beings, practice hard penances. For 6 years he was thus wandering from place to place in the quest of answer of his doubt. At Uduvilva near Gaya, he practiced the most severe samadhi by reducing his body almost to bones and skins. That too did not bring any result. So practiced very hard, but he could not got any satisfied result. So finally there at Gaya, after taking the bath from the river Niranjana, he sat down near a peepal tree, that same Bodhi tree, with a supreme resolve. I will not leave this place till I attain the peace of mind which I have been trying for all these years. Then he sat in deep meditation. There at last came to him the great knowledge from the great unknown. Prince Gautama, Siddhartha, got enlightened and become Buddha, or the enlightened one. What is the meaning of Buddha? It is the enlightened one. He also came to be known as the Tathagata, or one who attained the truth. Sakya Muni, the sages of Sakya. Buddha was then 35 years of age when he attained the samadhi, that enlightenment, when he attained enlightenment. The peepal tree under which he got enlightenment became to be famous as the Bodhi tree and the place Bodh Gaya. The truth of Buddha got the truth which Buddha got was the truth underlying life as a whole, namely, life is full of suffering. Desire is the cause of suffering. Suffering ends as the destruction of desire, and desire is destroyed by right living. This is only the teachings of Lord Buddha, which is carried out through these years by the Buddhist monks. So, those whosoever follow this path are Buddhist monks, known as. What is Buddha trying to tell? Desire is the cause of suffering. Whatever we are suffering is for our desire. What is desire? The love, moha, etc. The fame of name. In life of Sri Ramakrishna also we can see the same thing, that Thakur has given off all the name and fame. He only practiced to feel that divinity inside him, goddess, the Tantra or everything. In one song of Thakur Sri Ramakrishna, it is clearly stated how we should pray to Sri Ramakrishna. It is saying that Bhakoto bilasi, dino bhakte dekha dao he asi, Bhakoto bilasi. Second line is very important. Ami dhon চাই না, মুক্তি চাই না হে, শুধু পদ অভিলাষী. It's very, and one part is there. আমি রাজ পদ চাই না হে, ভকত বিলাসী, দিন ভক্ত দেখা দাও হে আসি. We should pray to Lord in this same following manner, where we are giving all our things, we are surrendering every titles we have. It is to be said that we do ami dhon চাই না, মুক্তি চাই না হে, শুধু পদ অভিলাষী. Means I do not want money, I do not want mukti also. What I want? I want your that feet, that holy blessed feet. Means পদবিলাসী means আমি তোমার চরণ তলে থাকতে চাই, that things. And that is the great, that living in the under the feet is that great experience. If we achieve that, everything will be nothing to us. So it is told that desire is the cause of suffering. Then suffering ends at the destruction of the desire. And desire is destroyed by right living. So what is saying? First Buddha, see, in this sentence only, he told the cause and he told the answer. First he told the cause, that desire is the cause of suffering. Then he told that how we can destruct this desire. We have to end our how the suffering will be end if we can destroy our desire. And how desire is destroyed? It is by the right living. In the same phrase, he told the cause, he told the answer, he told the problem, and because also, answer also, he told. It is worth nothing, it is worth nothing here that words of Buddha at this moment contained in the Buddhist text. This truth is again his Buddha's word, quote unquote. This truth will not be easy to understand by beings that are lost in the lust and hatred, given to lust, surrounded with thick darkness. They will not see what goes against the current of their thoughts. This truth is abstruse, profound, and difficult to perceive, very subtle. When I pondered pondered over this matter, my mind became inclined to remain quiet and not to preach the truth to anyone. Then something happened. Two merchants from Odisha traveling on the road with their wagons observed me seated under a tree. They offered me some food in the form of rice and cakes, lumps of honey in a stone bowl. They gave their names as Tapashu and uh, Balilika. They events create interest and asked question which I answered. To my surprise, great surprise, I found them to be very receptive. I felt sure that they understood the essence of the new teaching, and on their insistence, I agreed to accept them my disciple. They became my first lay disciple. They told me that they would propagate the truth themselves as best they could, and also through their many traveling merchant friends. This proved to be a great event. It brought about a change in my life, in my resolve, change in my resolve not to propagate the truth. My encounter with the two traveling merchants convinced me that there were men in the world who could understand the truth. At first, Gautam Buddha selfishly thought that he would not propagate. But suddenly two of men came and showed his interest to know the truth, to know the actual meaning of truth. Thus Gautam Buddha being inspired to preach this. The famous Dharma Chakra Pravartana. After deciding to preach the truth, he proceeded from Bodh Gaya to Deer Park in Sarnath, where he gave his first sermon to 5 Brahmins. This event was famous as the Dharma Chakra Pravartana, or the turning of the wheel of law. Thus began the mission of Buddha as a preacher. There also began the rise of the Buddhist order of monks, or the Buddhist Sangha. Lord Vishnu, whenever in this earth, the truth, love for God, and factors which led to the moksha of human beings, he appeared. That time he appeared through his various avatar. It is regarded as Buddha is also avatar of Lord Vishnu. He is included in the Dasavatar. Means after Buddha, Kalki avatar. So Sri Ramakrishna also avatar of Lord Vishnu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Then what is why they are not in the Dasavatar Stotra? Very in this context, it is to be told that between Buddha and this Kalki avatar, the Kali Yuga is started. After the Buddha, the Kali Yuga started, and in this Kali Yuga, God has appeared 2 times. One at the very ancient times, and one at the time when this India, when this world is on a set of modernizing themselves, warning us to follow the path of Lord. Because what is the actual goal of Kalki avatar, as stated in the Upanishad Granths? He stated that he will destroy every evil of this time, sitting on a horse, white horse, with a danda in his hand. So both the avatar who came in this between two, seems to be trying to warning us to make ourselves involved in the name of God. For long 45 years, Buddhadev traveled with his disciple to preach his doctrines. He visited many places including Kapilavastu, where his own son Rahul was taken to new faith and became a wandering monk. As Buddha moved, princes and people alike felt attracted towards his teachings. At the place like Benares, Uduvilva, Rajgriha, hundreds of people become his disciples. At Shravasti, Kapilavastu, Vaishali, Magadha, Buddha's message spread among the myriads of men. Among his famous disciples, the names of Shariputta, Sanjana, Rahula, Buddha's own son, Aniruddha, Ananda, Upali, and Sudatta occupy permanent places in the Buddhist history. A new wave religious thinking soon swept over the country. Now also the Buddhadev, the whatever he preached, now also followed by the Buddhist, is the order of monks that he set. He died at the age of 80 at a place named Kusinagar in the present day of Gorakhpur district of modern Uttar Pradesh. Till the last moment of his life, he was a wandering preacher. At the very moment of death, he gave the following instruction to the faithful disciple Ananda. Therefore, O Ananda, be a lamp up to yourself, betake yourself to no external refuge, hold fast to the truth as a lamp, hold fast as a refugee to the truth. Look not for a refugee to anyone beside yourself. Uttering these words, he closed his eyes. The nirvana of Buddha took place in the year 1486 BC. The great decrease of Buddha is known as Parinirvana. Now, before we end, we shall discuss about Buddha's thought to the householders. Few teachings that honoring mother and father, cherishing of child and wife, and peaceful occupation. This is the good, best good omen. Omen. O-M-A-N. Omen. Giving all alms and righteous life, to cherish kith and kin, doing deeds that bring no blame. This is best good omen. Kissing and abstaining from sin, to shun intoxicating drinks, not neglecting religious duties. This is best good omen. The path which Buddha showed to the practical was a practical path to follow. This path was meant for the common people as the lay disciple of the faith. For Buddhist monks, there are the strict regulations, but three teachings, three Bani was there for the householders. Thakur also, in many cases, repeated this also in various forms. Today, on the Janma Jayanti of Lord Buddha, I would like to pray to him for all well-being and also pray to Thakurman Swamiji, Holy Trio, that all live in a very good condition and always may get the blessing of Holy Trio. ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री राम कृष्णार्पणमस्तु। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद।